I had a guy open a door for me once and I went, thank you. And I think he was shocked. And I said, oh, I think that you're really sweet holding the door. And he says, usually I have hands, don't hold the door. Like, I can do this for myself, or you don't need to get that for me. Like, people, if somebody holds the door for you, man, woman, an older lady, just say thank you.
Yes.
Be courteous. And I think that women have taken it to the other part, trying to prove they can do it all. And yes, we can, but it's so much fun.
Real women, real lives, real stories. This is the Ladies in Power podcast. Unfiltered, unscripted, and refreshingly authentic. We're not holding back, and maybe after this, neither will you. Let's go.
Welcome to the Ladies in Power podcast. My name is Mika Casey.
I'm Cindy Batha.
Dr. Soraya.
Govindra.
And we are Ladies in Power just like you. Thank you for joining us today. Buckle up for this episode. It is all about appreciating the men in our lives. If you've got a brother, a father, a nephew, a husband, a boyfriend, just a friend that's a guy in your life, a cousin, and you're looking for ways to support them in their lives, men are not always as good as we are at asking for support. And we're going to share some ways that we support them and some signs on what to look for that maybe they do need support and they're not willing to ask. Men have a very different ego than we do, and they also process differently than we do. And we thought, what a great topic to discuss, because we all have many men in our lives, and we have great relationships with all of them, as far as I know. And therefore, we thought we would add some value in your life. So who wants to go first?
I'll start.
Okay.
Oh,
I'll start just by sharing that I come into this conversation with a love of men. Like, I love men. I'm very blessed to have had really good men in my life. And I appreciate that that's not everyone's
experience.
experience. Yeah. So I'm coming into this conversation because I do love men. And lately I feel that I've been looking at men in my life and around me, and I kind of just, I don't know if this is oneness that's happening with them, but I feel like I'm transported back to a playground where I see, little boys and little girls playing. It's so innocent, and there's none of the historical stuff that happens in our lives that makes us feel a certain way about, another person, another gender. And there's just this warmth that comes into my heart. And I have been feeling that the men in general could really use some of our support. I think it'd be really nice for us to awaken that amongst our peers, amongst our girlfriends, and just sort of remind ourselves that they also need our love.
Yeah.
And it's for me. So I just wanted to start by saying I do love the men and in my life and around me. And so that's the perspective I come in. So, just to share that that's my baseline.
Beautiful. How about you, Gurvinder?
I absolutely agree with Sandeep. I love the men in my life and I appreciate them more. I absolutely adore my husband. I love my brother. I enjoy all my uncles. And I don't have any sons, but I I love getting to know my nephews. It's so interesting to hear their commentary and what they're going through. So, yes. The other thing that I've been noticing over the years is men are opening up a little more. So it's really cool to see this new phenomena. And I'm super interested in what we're all going to say.
Go, Dr. Soraya.
I was just thinking poor men are so confused these days. I mean, I hear memes that says they want 6'3", masculine guy, and at the same time, if he's too masculine and the women are complaining, they're not really understanding the women's feelings. Like, we're asking for a unicorn, something that doesn't exist. If he's too masculine, of course he's not going to be interested in your menstrual problems, he's not going to get that. If he is that way inclined, then he's not going to be really masculine. The other day, my daughter asked me, "Oh, Mom, who's John Wayne?" And I went, "Oh, wow, that's what we used to think as manly, right? John Wayne was it. He protected his family. He had the gun. He was a no nonsense kind of guy. But you never wanted to see him cry in a corner, right? That wasn't right. And now we've switched it around. We want the men to cry with us when it's a sad movie, but we want them to protect us when the bad guy comes in. It's just a really hard time, I think, for men to be men, to know what that means. And with all the other things that are going in the world, we're naming all different kind of things I don't want to get into. So I think at the end of the day, I really sympathize for men. I think it's very hard time. I had a guy open a door for me once and I went, thank you. And I think he was shocked. And I said, oh, I think that you're really sweet holding the door. And he says, usually I have hands, don't hold the door. Like, I can do this for myself, or you don't need to get that for me. Like, people, if somebody holds the door for you, man, woman, an older lady, just say thank you.
Yes.
Be courteous. And I think that women have taken it to the other part, trying to prove they can do it all. And yes, we can, but it's so much fun having that friend, that brother, that best friend, that's a guy. And all of my best friends, actually, all of my life, all my best friends have always been men, always at school. I never had women as best friends
Why do you think that is?
because men are honest. Men, if you look, you go, do I look fat? And they go, yeah, you look fat. And that's the end of it. It's none of these maneuvering. You don't have to second guess them. And they don't play mind games. I was never good at trying to figure out what people meant when they said one thing and did the other. And I really enjoyed being around men, and they just don't give an F.
Well, I just love everything that you just said.
Well, thank you.
I love everything that you just said. It is so true. And I think about my husband and the men in my life, my grandfather,
Mm.
all three of my grandfathers, because I was blessed to have two dads, and they were all extraordinary men who were kind to their wives and children and women and society, and they got it done at at work and at home. When I think about appreciating men, I think about thank you for buying dinner. Even my husband, whenever we go out and he buys dinner, I thank
Nice.
him for buying dinner.
Mhm.
Just because we're married and we have, mixed finances doesn't mean that he didn't take me to dinner.
Yeah,
So
that's
Exactly.
so
thank you, honey,
true,
for
Mika.
taking me to
Yeah.
dinner. And my I've had role models in my life that have taught me what I appreciate about men and what I still get curious about. It's not that I don't appreciate certain things about men, it's that I'm seeking to understand. I'm seeking to regulate some of the behaviors that are natural and innate to them, that are foreign and confusing to me. And it doesn't mean that I have to make them wrong because I don't understand it. So, getting curious about why men respond a certain way or don't respond a certain way has helped me to stay in that place of appreciation over expectation, which Tony talks about. I'm telling you, like, because I didn't grow up seeing a lot of respect for um, men. Well, that's not true. What am I trying to say? I have seen both sides of what a man is capable, the good and the bad and the ugly. Let's say that. And I've chosen to focus on the beauty, and I attracted an extraordinary man in my life. Oh my gosh, I'm making so much noise under the table because I'm a little bit, I don't know, I feel so raw and vulnerable talking about this for some reason because it's so important. It's so important that we understand as women that men are not women, that men, in my experience, my opinion, my view of the world, that men want to provide and men want to be strong and they want to be appreciated. Like, we wanna be told that we're beautiful. I don't think my husband gives a rat's ass if I tell him he's handsome or beautiful. I do, but I don't think it means the same thing to him as it does to me. That's just one example. I don't know. I'm so passionate about it. I think I'm all over the place, so I should just pass the mic until I gather my thoughts.
Mhm. I really relate to what you shared, Massa, about the comfort around men, and I
Mhm.
also feel that I truly enjoy men's company as well.
Mhm.
Like, there's a circle of men. I know it's kinda awkward for me sometimes to partake in that or be part of that, but when I can be, I really enjoy. I
Mhm.
enjoy the energy, and it's for the same reason as you. It's just straight up. I love, people that communicate clearly, they're honest, and you don't have to worry that they're gonna carry something for a while, if something
Yes.
has happened. They tell it how it is. That honesty, that clarity for me is so beautiful, around the men that I happen to be blessed to be around. So I really do enjoy that about men too. I love their company.
Mhm.
I would love to spend, time in those circles. Um, and I do what comes up for me too is that there are so many men, I think, that are carrying a lot of silent heaviness. And they do carry the world's, burdens on their shoulders. They want to protect their families. They want to provide for their families. And somehow their needs can get lost in the mix. And it's really, I think, really important to check in on the men around us and, how's your work going? What are you what are you struggling with? And just those check-ins, I think, mean a lot to them. And even if we can acknowledge what they share, if they're having a hard week or they've just getting them to feel safe to open up. And yeah, it may seem confusing, but we're also helping them tap into that softer side, which I think exists in all men.
Yeah.
But perhaps they had to somehow
Suppress it.
suppress it. Yeah. But I think it's important to check in on the men around us, the ones that seem like they're doing fine and they're, go get it, go getters, doing it all. But are they really fine? And are they feeling more pressure than we realize? And how do we alleviate some of that burden on them? Can we alleviate it by just simply connecting with them?
Mhm. We were watching uh, Queen Charlotte
Oh,
the other night.
yes.
So
Yes.
Belinda and I found ourselves, we were the only ones home, and this never happens in our family of six. So all the kids were doing their thing, and we're like, okay, what should we watch? And usually it's sports or a movie related to sports or football. But the other night, he's like, okay, what do you want to watch? So I'm like, "Yeah, let's watch Queen Charlotte." So I hadn't watched it yet. And the interesting thing was seeing King George being burdened with everything. I have to be perfect if I do this. It's going to affect the people. And what are they going to say? He had so much stress upon him. And then I thought about Bridgerton and I thought about Simon, Duke of Hastings, all the stress and all the pressure. And then I thought about how it relates to our men today. They're still carrying all this emotional burden. Like, for instance, the Duke of Hastings will go to Bridgerton. He was, he decided he didn't want children because he held a vow. And the reason why he held a vow is because his father treated him like he was nothing because he had a stutter.
That's right.
So, because of his stutter, he was considered useless. So, he had to keep proving himself as a child. So, he kept proving himself as a child. And then, am I good enough for you? Am I worthy of your attention? So, that whole emotional burden he suppressed and said, well, I don't want to have any children anymore. So, our men through society push things down, um, provide, take care of us, are the strength for us. But underneath it, they really want to regulate their emotions, is what I think. I think they would love for us. I think what you said, Sandeep, what all of you guys have said, I think what we can do for them is to be there and show them how to self-regulate in a way that they feel safe and secure with us. So I find that there is this intergenerational burden of, I got to do this, I got to provide, and I have to be strong, and I got to be everything. And all these different stressors are on our men. It's intergenerational. And the great thing about what's going on today is they can self regulate, and we can show them that. So it was really interesting. This all came from watching Queen Charlotte.
And the one
And
and yeah, but those days, those days the responsibilities were very clear.
yes, they
And I think
were.
that's why men had it easier. Look, a man went out, he brought the money, he fed the family, and then he was just worshipped and revered.
Uh-huh.
Right? And the woman, she looked pretty. She gave birth to the
Yes,
children. I
yes,
mean, you're talking about Bridgerton. It's telling you exactly how it was.
yes.
There was no confusion as to the roles and what everybody was responsible. And I think that certainty brings calm. And that's what's missing in society right now. Imagine an office where nobody knows what their role is. And
Uh-huh.
everybody sort of has to compromise not to hurt anybody else's feelings.
Uh-huh.
You don't know whether you're going forward or backwards. And unfortunately, we're at that point in our society. We've lost our traditional roles. A lot of men are now staying at home and they're looking after the children. They're doing the paternity leave. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying lines are just being crossed
Everything
over
is blurred.
everywhere.
It's
Everywhere
too
is just
blurred.
blurred. A woman is now wearing pants and going out and earning the money, but then is she coming home to make the dinner, or is he? Or we're all very confused as to what we should be doing. And I think that's bringing anxiety in not only women, but in a lot of our young men because they don't know their role in all of this.
Amen to that.
Hmm.
I really agree with that wholeheartedly. And I love you so much, Gurvinder. And
I love you too.
when I heard you say we can teach our men to self regulate, I could imagine me saying that to my husband and him looking at me like, I don't need to self regulate. Thank you. So I just have my husband is happy in the bedroom. If there's ever a way I want to please my man and appreciate my man, it's to touch his muscles and tell him he's so strong and I love you and I know you can take care of me and I've had a rough day. Please wrap your arms around me so I can feel safe. I don't know that my husband needs me to do anything for him to feel safe. I That's my perspective. A man doesn't need his woman to feel safe. A woman needs to feel safe by her man. I think that is the role that I understand. And I'm only going on my experience with my husband, my grandfather, my dad, and dad's grandfathers, and they've all been such my definition of masculine. They took care of us. We took care of them. Like you were saying, they went to work, they brought home the bacon, they came home dirty, sweaty, feeling good about putting in a day's work and coming home exhausted and us saying, "Can I give you a massage, honey?" I love that you provide I just feel like you were saying the roles are mixed up
Mhm.
and it seems like probably there's going to be people out there going, screw you, equal rights and fine. That's your world. That's not my world. My world and what makes my man feel good is appreciating his muscles, appreciating that he works hard, doing little things so that he doesn't have to, asking him to open a jar. I'm very capable of opening the jar.
Mm.
I know I can open the jar. I know I can open the door. But I stand in front of the door and I wait for my husband to open the door. And when we first started dating, he laughed at me. I mean, not overtly, but he was like, "What?" And I'm like, "I'm just waiting for you to open the door." I said it once, and he's opened the door for me for the last 19 and a half years. My
That's amazing.
grandfather taught me that. He said, "Mika, let men be men and learn to be glad of it."
Hmm.
I I mean, I must have been 12 years old when he said that, and it stuck to me. You stand in front of the door. And so, look, this is just the beliefs that I have. This is what my family has taught me. This is how I appreciate my man. It's massage, it's telling him his strength. I mean, he comes home and one day his t-shirt is kind of, a little bit loose. And the next, like last night when he came home and we have a construction company and he comes home in his t-shirt that says Casey Construction and he's bursting through his t-shirt. I'm like, babe, you need to get bigger t-shirts. So he's not fat, okay? He's been slim and strong his whole life, and he's always working on eating more and working out so he can, feel stronger. And just when I say that to him, and I was not lying, he was just like, oh yeah, I need to, it shrunk in the dryer, or yeah, I just like,
That's so cute.
like that is what makes my man happy. So no
Yes.
disrespect, but if I ever said to my husband, I'm going to teach you how to self-regulate, he'd check out. He would
Yeah.
totally check out.
I think when I say self-regulate, I don't mean a part of me doesn't mean we should say to them, I want to help you self-regulate. I think we should find ways like what you're doing. That's self-regulation.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you
Just
for
finding
clarifying.
just finding ways because we we know when they're angry. We know when something is off. And I think we're really good at helping them, you know, helping them find what it is by giving them little hints or just waiting to figure out what their answer is.
Mhm.
And I think that's our way of self-regulating them too.
So it's not self-regulating if we're doing it.
Yeah.
It's like, right? I mean, it's like
Ugh.
Sandeep kind of edging her husband to say there is something wrong when he didn't want to say it. Really, it was her prompting
Yeah,
him,
Okay, maybe
right?
prompting
yeah.
maybe
Yeah, so
prompting
it can't
is
really be considered self-regulation
mm,
if we're doing it for them.
That's right.
Yeah, I kind of see where Sandeep comes from because she just admitted she has 4 girls.
Gurvinder.
Gurvinder. Oh, I'm so sorry. Gurvinder did. I just looked at Sandeep and I turned around. And until I had a boy, I really had no idea how to handle men. I still don't. But it's such a different world
Mm.
of raising boys
Mhm.
versus girls. Girls will just come up to you, they'll cry, and they'll admit that something is wrong. A boy would lash out and call you all kinds of names and slam the door in your face because he's confused. He can't tell you, Mom, I'm upset.
Mm.
He still wants to be that man at 13 and 14, but somehow he has to let it out. It was very, very hard raising my son because I was born with a sister. I always had just women around me. And it was different with dealing with male best friends because they're like, you shut up. No, you shut up. No, you shut up. But when raising a small guy to be a man, that was hard work. And part of the struggle was that disconnect between what the world was teaching them they should do and what their genetic was telling them they should do.
Yes.
So you're right. A man would look at a woman with big boobs and immediately think she was attractive. Guys, don't call him sexist. Big boobs means the woman can feed his children.
That's right.
It's in his
Not
genes.
sexist.
it's just yeah.
If you have shiny hair, a man isn't attracted to you because it means good health.
Yes.
If you have a small waist, to him genetically means you are not pregnant with somebody else's child. All of these are in their genes. We can't expect them to be someone else. But behaviorally, we're asking them to be something that's genetically in contrast, and they're having problems, they're having issues. Um, and yeah, they are still the hunters and we're the gatherers. So somehow we got to make this okay. And I don't know what the answer is. I'm just observing.
I wanted to add a comment about the safety aspect. And I agree that men, provide this beautiful physical form safety and structural safety, but we women also provide a safety in terms
Yes.
of their emotional, like we provide the emotional home for them to come and feel safe to share about their day. And I do think that's very important. And I wouldn't want to negate that because we are there also as that anchor for them. And that I think is a beautiful exchange of safety
Yeah,
between
100%.
between a man and a woman. And I know, you're speaking about your son, and I have a very different son. So even raising our boys to men can be a very different experience based on their own personality, maybe what they've grown
100%.
up witnessing or seeing, or what they've had role model to them. So it's very different house to house and person to person. Each one's coming of age and what they see as their role and how they're going to step into it. But
100, and thank you for saying that,
yeah.
Sandeep. Thank you, because my sister is a single mom, and she raised the kid that's completely different from my son.
Mhm.
He's actually very in tune with his feelings.
Mhm.
He has multiple friends that are girls because he always tuned with his mother's emotion and what was important to her.
Mhm.
So girls just gravitate towards him because he understands them, because he had to be with. Yeah, so that's really important where they're grown, what kind of environment, and but genetically still, he is still a boy. So he is like wants to be that macho. He wants to protect his mom. He likes a certain type of girl, and I think for women it's easier. We can be out there working and earning money and coming home and switching that around and cooking and still be nurturing. Somehow we manage that. It's not as hard for us. It's okay for us to cry and it's okay for us not to cry. Either way, we're strong women. But if a man cries, a lot of women will look down on it, you know?
A men's brain is wired different. Like, we are different, and we appreciate each other differently. Getting back to appreciating our men, we because we're different, and I think it starts with really recognizing that we're different, because men's brains are wired straight. Like, all their if you look at a man's brain and they've studied it, all the wiring is straight. It's straight lines, okay? The woman's brain is all intertwined and round, and it's all curved and crossed, and we are wired differently.
Hmm.
It's not enough that one has a penis and one has a vagina, that some like we are so incredibly different, and yet we often think that we're the same in different bodies, and we're not. Like, the woman really is the nurturer. So what does the man need? The man needs nurturing from the woman, needs the nurturing, needs the loving, needs the
Well,
appreciation.
that's what Sandeep was
The,
saying, right? That our role is to protect them from everything
I
else.
don't think that my role is to protect my husband.
You don't
Period.
think that?
No, my role
Not
is not to
emotionally,
protect.
not
No,
emotionally, not.
no.
I wouldn't say my role is to protect either.
Mm-mm.
My point was that I can be an anchor for him, a safe place.
Oh,
A safe place.
Yeah,
I
and
completely agree.
Yeah,
and I
okay.
wouldn't take on the role or the responsibility of another human's, really, like, my husband, Sad, and I, we've come to an agreement that our role is to be happy on our own, like to find our own happiness, to do what we need for our happiness. And we don't place that responsibility on each other.
Hmm.
So if I'm miserable, I'm not looking to him to fill that misery and replace it with happiness, because that's an unfair expectation.
Amen.
And he's same way. Like, if he's down about something, he doesn't look to me to say, "Can you make me happy?" It's, "What can I do in the moment?" And we're both learning. Like, we've agreed to this recently. It's not even a very, like, I'm not saying this is decades old, but it's a recent kind of moment of awareness that we had. And we're thinking, like, if we can do the work to regulate ourselves, self-regulate, that we come together and wow, what a beautiful, magnification that we bring to each other. But to
Hmm.
depend on the other for this or that, I think it's getting into a little bit of difficult territory potentially. Now, that doesn't mean to say I can't be that for him. If I see that he's down and I feel that he's had a hard week, yes, of course I want to pour love into him and I want to do little extras for him that just help him know that I've got someone in my corner.
Hmm.
She's looking out for me. She doesn't need me to tell her this has gone wrong and this is bad. I can feel when he walks in the door.
Mhm.
I know what he's like on a good day, and I know what he's like on a hard day. So it's nice for me, and it doesn't take anything away from me to tune into that and offer something to him to help him feel supported and loved. and seen and valued. All of those things. It makes me feel good. At the end of the day, I feel good being able to support him in that way. And I apply the same to our son. If I will always offer him extra love, more love, nurturing, but I don't feel it's my responsibility. Like that, there's a difference there. There's a distinction there that I'm offering as a gift from me to you, but it's not something that is my job. And that's taken some work to separate the two for myself, to separate the feeling of duty versus giving as a gift, offering as a gift.
What was it that you said about if you don't, like, 'cause I'm thinking about appreciating our men. If we don't appreciate our men, somebody else will. Okay.
Mm.
The bottom line. So I'm going to appreciate my husband every chance that I get. And I'm going to tell him how fabulous he is. And I'm going to look for little things. And when he comes in the door, no matter what I'm doing, I'm going to drop everything and I'm going to run to the door and I take his lunch bag and I give him a kiss and say, "Hi, babe, welcome home." And that is just the routine because I want him to know that he is the priority in my life. No matter what else I'm doing, he comes first. He's my man. And I remember when we shared this on another podcast, we talked all about that. So you can go and refer to our last podcast if you're curious about that one. It was really juicy.
Yeah.
And you shared there was a slogan, or do you remember? I'm
Oh,
sorry to put you on the
that's
spot.
okay.
You said something to the and you loved it too. Okay, if we don't remember today, and I'm so sorry, Sandy, it
Okay.
just came to me. We'll put it in the comment section, okay, or the description
Yeah.
of what it was because it was so good. And it was like kissed or loved anyway, if really
I
it
don't
comes down to
remember.
it, if we don't appreciate our men, like why not? Why? And find out what they will. Ask them,
Mhm.
how can I show my appreciation for you? Is it by listening? Is it by asking you to open up emotionally? My husband would hit me over the head. I mean, he
Act of
wouldn't, but
service,
is it acts of service for
Yeah,
my
gift.
husband is a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But ask them so that you're not, because so often we do things that we think our men are going to appreciate and they don't. And then we make it about us.
That's
Well,
right.
I
Mm.
did that for him and he didn't even say thank you. He didn't even appreciate it. And well, maybe that wasn't something he wanted. So
Exactly.
who's this really about? Him or you?
My husband, I love that. And I'm going to give you an example of how beautiful that can be. He came home a little while ago. This man, I have to say, I do really love my husband. He's an amazing man. He came home and he's I think he's just because we're into making each other happy too. I'm not going to say we don't. We do. And he came home with this most beautiful question. And as the curious one and as conversation starter for most of our marriage, the initiator of all dialogue between us, what a gift he gave to me by asking a question that was something along the lines of, I'd like to check in with you and ask you, how did I show up for you as a husband that made you feel really good this week?
Wow.
Wow.
Um,
What?
oh my
That's
gosh. Right now, right
amazing.
here, right
Yeah.
this. And then, follow-up question, and to be able to take this is, what could I have done to improve anything? What was something
Wow.
where I fell short? And I'm just like, holy girl, I can't even think because I'm so like, cross-eyed over this question. How much I love the fact that you're asking me this question.
Yes.
But
That's
Mhm.
lovely.
and over the years, probably have asked some versions of that to him, but for him to mirror that back for
Mhm.
me was so beautiful. So I'm just going to say, forget about it coming to you, but can we offer that type of a
Yes.
question to our men? And it could be
Mhm.
anyone, even to my brother. Recently, I've kind of gone out of my way with my brother to really let him know the ways that I appreciate him.
Oh,
And the
nice.
truth of the matter is, I used to find my brother, because he's quite like, he'll call himself an alpha male. He's very like, he's just how he feels. He speaks it in that moment. And I used to find it a bit.
Is he single?
Yeah.
I love that.
Happily married to the most beautiful woman on the planet. But I would find it a little bit abrasive. Like I'd be like, oh my gosh, like he's gonna like, and yet now I find that I just love that about him. And I say it to him as often as I can. And I'm hoping he receives it in the way that it's intended, but just the compliment that I just want to share something with you. Do you know how happy I feel to have a strong brother like you in my corner? Like I feel like there's nothing that I've got you, I've got Sam, I've got, just beautiful men in my corner. But to have a brother like that and to really like even in myself, the shift of how he's the same. He hasn't changed.
What changed for you?
The desire to appreciate over myself. Like I got out of my way.
Mm.
So just desire to see in him the good that exists and not, yeah, and not want him to change. He needs to be who he is, but can I see him differently through a different
Mm.
lens? And that's what changed.
That's a mic drop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that really
beautiful.
is.
Yeah,
Because you can always find stuff to criticize
you
about,
can.
right?
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah. So the asking and the asking in a way that maybe draws them in a fun way, so we ask playful questions. Um, Maybe I wonder if women, as women, I'll speak for myself. Maybe I've approached it in a perhaps what comes across as a serious way.
Hmm.
And if I reframe it in a playful way, it's much lighter. Oh my gosh, I love our marriage. I wonder what we could do to make it even better. That feels like a safer place to play. Come and play with your woman rather than, we need to do better. Like, what can we do better in our relationship? That
Yeah.
that just that tone or that playfulness can draw them in. And we want our men to share and not feel unsafe or judged or
Not good enough.
not good enough. Yeah. And appreciate even the littlest amounts that they give when they do share. Yeah.
That's the key, is to dote on even those little things. Dote on them, appreciate them, and they'll do more. We get more bees with honey, as grandma always said.
Mhm.
And
Then vinegar.
then vinegar. And
Yeah.
we tend to, as women, we coach each other, and then we go and we want to coach our husbands. But that doesn't work. No husband wants to make love to their coach. It's because they don't see it as coaching. They see it as criticizing. They see it
Criticizing.
as
Yeah.
something is wrong with me. I'm not good enough.
Mhm.
And so,
Yeah.
how can we just focus on the beauty? This is about appreciating them, right? So what are some other ways that we appreciate them? One of the ways that comes to me really quick is he if I say would you instead of could you, will you instead of can you,
Oh,
that
nice.
tiny little thing, of
Shift.
course I can, but will you? Then
Yes.
he gets to say yes versus doing it because a part of his ego needs to prove. There's such a subtle difference that can mean the world. So, babe, would you please do this? Or, babe, would you mind? Or, will you, do this? Or instead of can you? It just changes so much. And he taught me that early in our dating.
That's actually very,
Yeah.
very good hack. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember three things when I studied with Tony Robbins for that 3 years, because I was always in the coaching mode. I was born to coach. And I was like, I'm going to make that man perfect. And I think
You're kind of perfect.
my kind of perfect. And I think he did the 3 C's. Don't close off, because if I got mad, I would just walk away and close right up. Don't be cold and don't criticize. So I think as women, if we're hurt, we do all three of that. We either get all cold, don't talk to me, close off, or start to criticizing. This is what you did wrong and this is what you did better. So that was something that shifted for me. I'm not saying I've completely stopped, but I'm mindful. And the other thing was the gratitude journal. He said, just for 1 week, just write down what you appreciate about your husband.
Ooh,
Everything. And
good.
you don't have to tell him. You don't have to think, I think you're so awesome. I don't think you're this. You're just for your own mentality, so that you start to act differently towards him.
Yeah.
And then you will see, and just you writing it, like what attracted you to him in the first place? What was it that you found endearing? And then start writing something small every day. And after a week, see the difference.
But when you read it to your husband, if you read it, don't tell him what you found endearing. Tell him what you found sexy.
Yeah. And sexy about him. But it is like it could be just the way he smirks. Like with Alex, he gets a dimple whenever he smiles.
Aw.
And I always thought that was the cutest thing. And he has another dimple right here
And his chin.
in his
Mhm.
chin. So he looks like Superman sometimes. So I forgot that. And the other day I went, oh, I used to think he was so cute. So you write it in your little book and then
She's actually blushing.
Oh my
so
gosh.
it's
Yeah.
just like, little things that,
Yeah.
and I also love what Mika does, and I have to do more. Sometimes my husband comes and I'm on the TV room and I yell, hi, because I'm just too tired to get up, go downstairs and hug him and say that. And I think what you do is really amazing. I think he's very lucky to have you, but to put that effort to get his lunchbox, to give him a hug,
I am
that's
lucky that he comes home to me every day.
Mhm.
I do not take that for granted.
that's
Mm.
lovely,
I am
guys.
lucky that he chooses me every day because let's face it, ladies, we make a choice every day,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and so do they.
Yeah. It's I learned from like my I grew up with someone who didn't dress up. My mom didn't dress up all the time, and when I got married, I looked around. I'm like, no, I think I want to be this person. So I really put effort into taking care of myself
Mm.
because look at him. He's muscular. He's sexy. He's strong, and he sees patients all day. I
Yeah.
like
Good girl.
Yeah.
you know
Appreciation.
Yeah.
yeah. So I make sure I'm ready and dressed up and
Open.
open.
Yeah.
And the other day, I said to him, I'm like, I just want to smell you, and he wasn't wearing any cologne. I'm like, just smelling you has calmed me down. I don't know what I was going through, but I just wanted to smell him. I'm like, just let me smell you,
I
and
need to step up.
that was it. No cologne, no nothing. I'm like, I just feel so calm right now, and all I'm doing is smelling you.
That's lovely.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
That's
smell my
lovely.
husband's shirts before I put them in the laundry.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
do. I do. When it's his work shirts and I like hold it up and I'm like,
Something about their pheromones.
it smells like work. Like it's just there's sawdust or there's he's gonna listen to this and just giggle or like I can't lost my words. But it smells like work. And it just shows me that how hard he works and like Sandeep, you're saying that they carry the like they or somebody said they carry the world on their shoulders. I think
Mhm.
it was you.
Yeah.
And he does it
Mhm.
with pride.
Mhm.
He does that with I am going to take care of my woman and he does it with such pride. And so when I smell that shirt, it is self-love as much as it is appreciation. It's appreciating that he loves me enough and us enough to go and sweat in that shirt and that I get to wash it.
Mhm.
He brings
Mhm.
it home to me to wash. Like it's just, I think those are the ways that I appreciate my
That's
man. He
lovely.
is the
Mhm.
greatest gift that ever happened to me. He really is. And I want to find more ways to appreciate him. And he would say, babe, you do so much already. Like, and yet there's always another level.
Yeah. Yeah. There is. And I look at sometimes men who struggle. And there's a good friend of ours. And well, he said this, and it just broke my heart. And he says, I've come to a conclusion that we men are just not meant to be happy. And I'm
Ah.
like, what? No, no. He goes, it's okay. We're good with it. We've talked, we've had one conversation. And he's like, yeah. So we all agree. Us men, we're not meant to be happy. We're just men. And I'm like, what on earth are you talking about?
Wow.
And, with some of the men, he shared with me because we have a friendship and I felt maybe he felt safe.
Safe.
And I really appreciated that he shared this with me because it gave me some insight. And it almost feels like they're punishing themselves, that they don't deserve happiness. Their job is
Mm.
only to look after the happiness of their families. And I don't know how to break through. I've been trying to break through that, with him, and really we just never get enough time to go at it in terms of that conversation. But just that's a little bit of insight. Here's a group of at least 5 or 6 men that have come to a conclusion that they're not meant for happiness.
Hmm.
Their role is to protect, and provide safety. And that's it. They're not meant to be happy. So, this exists out there. And when I see men struggling sometimes, or I sense that they're struggling, I can't help but kind of look for the little boy within them, or
Hmm.
imagine the little boy within them, because I see the wounds within some of these men that they're not even aware of that they're carrying. So I'm sure some of the women listening to our podcast today or watching it will say, yeah, that's fine for you. You sound like you have a nice husband, and you sound like you have someone that is willing to, do his part. But what about the guy I'm married to? He's not willing to do the
Mhm.
work. He's not willing to go within himself. What about for me? Or how do I support that man who just doesn't seem to crack his shell or allow me in? And that's really tough. And the only thing I can say to that is it takes a lot of, wow, it takes a lot. First of all, let's just stop there. To be so great and big in your heart that you can look for compassion and feel compassion for someone that's just not letting you in.
Wow.
And I don't know what to say about that. How do we support those men that just maybe they're so hurt or wounded by their childhoods, adulthood, I don't know, relationships, that they just are super closed off, and I'm not saying my friend is this case, but maybe just come to a point where yeah, we're not meant for happiness.
What if there's so many different things for everyone to do, but I think in my experience, when a female self-regulates or when a female is neutral, I think the men around her possibly can ask, "What are you doing? What is it about you that you carry calm? And what is it that we can learn from you?" So I find different people asking me, and I always introduce qigong because it's a martial art in self-regulation. So I find that more men are inclined to do tai chi or qigong, and it just does wonders for the body. I mean, within 5 or 10 minutes, a person just following a great qigong practitioner is able to really calm their nervous system down. And by doing this 5 to 10 minutes a day, every single day, you'll be very surprised at who you are at the end of 4 weeks, where you are inclined to let other people in,
Mm.
are inclined to say, I wonder if I've been treating myself poorly because of something that happened in my past. And maybe I do want help or something, or even meditation. I
Mm.
find that more men are inclined to meditate these days. There are so many, there are so many podcasters out there, like Andrew Huberman, and he talks about the breath and meditating. And I find that more men are listening to that and saying, maybe, just maybe, I need to look into that and start meditating, even if it's just a couple of minutes a day. Andrew Huberman also talks about yoga nidra. And what if I start doing yoga nidra? Where will I be then? What could happen to me? What am I capable of
So are
if I
you doing the yoga to appreciate your men?
so I I needed to self-regulate.
Because I know if I did yoga, my men would appreciate it.
Yes. Yes.
All those positions. Oh boy.
Yes, I was always doing meditation. Then I found qigong, and I found all these other different ways. But I think I think more people are like, "What are you doing? What is it that you're doing?" So I'm having um, in-laws asking. I'm having my brother ask. I'm just having different males and around my family asking, "What is it that you're doing?
Going
What is
to stay calm, and you're
what is it?"
saying they should try qigong or something
Or
just
something.
to get more
Yeah.
So
calmness.
qigong is a way for men to feel appreciated.
For themselves, qigong allows you to neutralize your emotions.
Hmm.
That's what qigong absolutely does. It works on the all our different acupressure points. So, in traditional Chinese medicine, qigong is a way to calm the nervous system down with doing all these martial art poses. And I think men would really, really enjoy doing that. It feels manly enough. It feels like you're um, moving into all these strong positions. So I think men would be more inclined to try something like qigong.
Hmm.
That's a great option.
Lee Holden
Uh-huh.
is a expert qigong practitioner that I think men would um, enjoy following.
That's a good tip.
I'm also thinking of the women listening who perhaps work longer hours than their husbands, come home after them. I wonder what they're thinking about how do they appreciate their partners if they're working outside the home just as much, if not more.
Hmm.
What do we say to them?
Sorry, what do you say to your husband when you come home to say thank you for
Or like,
doing
let's say,
everything
we
at
talked
home?
about like, they come home and we greet them at the door
Right.
and we
Yes.
grab their lunch kit. That's beautiful if you are at home. But if
Yes.
you're a working woman outside the home and you're coming, let's say your husband gets home at 5, but you're coming home at 6:30, obviously you're not going to be
Oh,
right.
okay.
Like,
So you
so
could open the door and go running in and say, "Honey, I miss you so much today," and find him wherever he is in the house and
Ah,
jump up on top of him and cover him in kisses.
yeah,
that's
yeah, you
so
Hmm.
could do that.
cute.
You
You
could
could.
do that.
Yeah.
But I see where Sandeep is going. Like, it's all good if your husband is willing to change, if your husband is doing this. And what if you don't have that husband? I guess it
Is that
comes.
what she said?
Yeah,
Earlier.
yeah,
Yeah.
earlier.
Okay.
And I'm still thinking about that because that's a really good question. Not everybody has that husband that is willing to change, is willing to read the books,
Mhm.
that will come home and ask, how can I be a better husband?
Yeah.
I would say I would put a man like that in the top 5%, not generally,
Yeah.
not my experience of all the Persian men, uncles, brothers. I've never heard anyone come home and say, how can I do better? But there was a book that a friend of mine once gave me, and I don't remember the author. She's very famous, but I don't remember. Loving What Is.
Mm.
And in that book, she was explaining that women will marry a certain type of man and then find that as being the fault. And then the criticizing happens and everything else. So you don't have to have the perfect man. You just have to love what you already have.
Mm.
And that in itself will create a more joyous, more harmonious life that you're both happy in.
Yeah.
If, for example, in my case, I'm not musician, but my husband loves it. If I'm okay with leaving him doing what he loves and not be nagging, because if I did, we wouldn't be together. He loves it so much that he's doing it every night. So I should be okay with it. So I think at some point, you kind of sit down and say, is this house, is this car, is this man, is this husband, is this whoever who I can live with and I want to be with or not? And if it is, make it good for both of them,
Yeah.
for both of you, by just appreciating what is. If he just washes the dishes one time in a month, appreciate that versus having a
Mhm.
husband that
Mhm.
rushes to wash your dishes.
Mhm.
Uh, or looking at it another way, maybe a guy will protect you, but he's not going to sit down and watch. You have to watch the sports with him, being okay with that.
Yeah.
So, Loving What Is was a book about
Mhm.
recognizing what you've got, appreciating it, and loving it, or just walk away and stop bitching about it.
Mm.
Because at the end of the day, I have seen many people being in relationships always unhappy, criticizing, but not having that. And maybe that life isn't, not everybody has to stay together all the time, But like Tony Robbins says, if somebody says, I'm always going to be with you till the end, then it's worth investing that energy and finding ways you can appreciate and love each other. And it may not look the same for all of us, right?
I love that so much. I hear acceptance and gratitude in what you
Yeah.
just shared. And I
Yeah.
also want to be very clear that my husband did not come gift wrapped.
No, you worked
The
on that.
he If we
Yes.
got
Thank
married,
you.
he did not, that was not a gift wrap version of him at all. And it took us to kind of go through that ebb and flow of our relationship where I had to come to a point and say, I need to find my own happiness.
Hmm.
Therefore, when I was not dependent on him to be my
Source
driver
of
and my
joy.
source of joy, I think that's when, and I've always been the question asker. I've always had led these types of discussions. And what that was an example of how that's come back to me more
Yeah,
recent and
you
very.
did say you used to ask him the same questions, and then finally it came.
So
Yeah.
sometimes, and there's a story, there's something in here because sometimes we can be who we wish for them to. I don't want to say wish for him to be that because that would mean that I don't accept him as he was. But in order for the relationship to even go even deeper, even more rich, it's beautiful that he's mirroring that back for me. Maybe he recognizes that as my love language. And because I modeled that for him for so many years, and he got to be on the receiving end of how that makes one feel in a partnership. So
Mm.
perhaps he's come to the realization that this feels really good when I'm receiving. Maybe I can offer this back to her. And so that's why you get all googly-eyed and cross-eyed over like, "Oh my gosh, this question."
Yeah,
And
it
so
is hard
yeah,
work. Like they're not coming like that prepackaged
and it
neither.
didn't take a
Yeah.
day, and it didn't take a year, and it didn't take 10 years. It took a long time for us to now come into this beautiful space of wanting to be, that partner for each other. But we worked at it. And sometimes only one was working at it and the other was sort of oblivious and just doing their own thing. But as long as we stayed committed, and in this particular story, I modeled what I wanted to be, and it rubbed off. And I'm very grateful for that. And I appreciate that it rubbed off. But I couldn't have
Mhm.
expected it to, and that's why it was such a beautiful surprise when it came back. And so sometimes it's a long, lonely road sometimes when you just keep giving. It feels like you're giving and giving and giving, and it may not come back for a while.
But yeah, exactly. So don't feel that, that just came overnight, or this is all things that we even learn and we forget. Like I'd heard that from Mika before, how she runs to her husband. And I remember making a note to myself to do the same thing. And just now I re-remembered it again. So there are ways that you appreciate people, and the more you give them love. The other day, Alex came to me and said, "Oh my God, you're the best wife in the whole world." And I'm like, "What did I do? What did I do?" I literally left him alone. That's what I did. I didn't do anything. I just let him be. He wanted to be by himself, and I didn't go and knock on that door constantly, or I just said, "Dinner's ready." He came and fed himself and he left. So I think every moment of every age, it's different how we deal before children, when we're young, after children, and just being okay with being with what we've got. There's always something we can appreciate.
There's always something. I appreciate this conversation, and a couple of things have stemmed out of listening. One of them is one of the ways we can appreciate our men is to have girlfriends so they don't have to be one.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
one.
So
Yes.
let's not
Yes.
treat our man like our girlfriend, or, again, intimacy. Intimacy suffers. And I don't mean just intimacy in the bedroom. I mean intimacy by deep connection, because it's my belief that men are not wired to be our girlfriends. They're wired to be our men. And when they're not, then maybe it comes back to some of what Massa shared at the very beginning about the role being very confused. And now that you're listening to this, it is your opportunity to be aware and to bring the gifts that you've learned here today to the relationships in your life with the men and to appreciate them. And you were sharing about the 3 C's, and one of them that I remember was control.
Oh, yes.
It was not to criticize,
Size
not to
with
control,
control.
and not to close up.
Yes.
Those are the 3 things that men really cannot stand from us. And from us, we want to feel seen, we want to feel safe, and we want to feel understood. So if that hits home to you, those that just came from a lot of the relationships stuff we've done with Tony Robbins.
Yes.
So don't be yeah, don't ask your partner to be your girlfriend. Get your girlfriends and have those conversations of makeup and do I look fat in these jeans and whatever. Have those conversations with your girlfriends. Don't
Mm.
put your man in that position because it's never comfortable for them. That's my 2 cents on it. And I had 3 other things that I was going to share, but this is just uh, I am so grateful for the man in my life. I'm
100%.
so
100.
grateful for the man in my life. And oh, I my husband did come wrapped, gift wrapped. My husband has been an extraordinary role model for me since the day we met. So Sandeep has role modeled much this part of the conversation and helped her husband to bring another side of himself. My husband has done that for me in more ways than I am even able to count. He is a rock. He is grounded. He reads the fine print on documents. um, he listens without judgment. Oh, I remember another way that I celebrate my husband, and you were sharing this, is by leaving him alone. My husband will get up at 5:30 in the morning and be out the door at 6, and sometimes he won't come home until 7 or 8 at night. And we'll have a nice dinner together for an hour, and then he's doing paperwork until midnight, sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, wow.
And the greatest gift that I can give to my husband right now, while he is in his prime, he has worked 16 years to get to where he is in his career, and he's thriving. He's got phenomenal clients. He's up for a huge award. He's earned respect from everybody in the industry. And I get the opportunity to look at him and support him by giving him the space without nagging him about, why are you so late? How come you weren't home for dinner? Come to bed. You're working too much. That doesn't work.
Mm.
And so I've learned that his happiness is my happiness. And if he comes home to me being happy because he worked so late and so hard to provide for me, and I get excited whether he comes home at 6 o'clock or 10 o'clock, and not question him, not doubt him, not try to control him, those are ways that I get to appreciate him.
Honestly, if I have to come back next lifetime, I'm coming back as a man. I am finding her and I am marrying her no matter what it takes.
He has earned it.
That's
That's not the
amazing.
woman I was when I met him.
I mean it.
Oh,
It's
that's not the woman I
incredible.
was when I met him. And that, trust me, he has given me no reason to give him anything less than everything I've got.
I love that. I love that for you guys.
What my
It's possible for everyone.
I love that.
There's something that our girls did for him when they were younger. When he would come home, when my husband would come home, especially when our older 2 were toddlers, they would scream. They would scream like a rock star arrived home, and they would jump and scream and just climb on him. And I think and then we had our younger 2, and they kind of did the same thing. But the uh, the audience he got when he arrived home from the kids was utterly amazing. And I just stood there like, okay, yes, yes, yeah.
That's nice.
But that's what the girls gave him too.
Mm.
Yes, in those younger days, yeah, I absolutely enjoyed watching all that and just his reaction.
And now you get to do it.
Now I get to
Yeah,
do
now
it.
you get
Now I
to.
get to do it.
Look who's
Yeah, who's not gonna like
I'm gonna do that tonight.
home at the fastest speed possible to come home to that kind of
Yeah.
Oh
love
my
and that
God, that's
environment.
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so much fun to
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah, our men, they deserve to be appreciated. They deserve all of that love and, rah, rah, rah.
Yeah.
And yeah, cheerleading that can be done for them. And even, like I said, just checking in, I hear things are tough for men.
Yeah.
How men are struggling. How are you doing?
Yeah.
And it just disarms them.
Mhm.
Just
Mm.
disarms them. Like, oh, someone's asking about me. Ask your friends. Ask whoever. Ask the men in your life.
I think this is going to be our #1 podcast. I think that every man who hears this is going to share it with every man he knows because, somebody gets us.
Yeah.
We are
Yes.
proud of them. That's
Oh, yes.
absolutely true.
So
Yeah.
proud, so excited.
As I ask the men in my life.
Yes.
I ask my husband, what is it that we don't get about you guys? What is it that you wish we knew more about?
Yeah.
And they'll share.
Yep.
Mhm.
My
They
husband
do.
tells me these are the things that I don't think people understand
Mhm.
about how, we're alpha men at work, we're taking on we're the leaders, we're making
Yes.
the decisions, and then
Yes.
we come home and it's a different environment now. We need to kind of soften up because the kids are there, my wife's there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to, they got to flip on a switch. And
Yeah.
it's a hard thing
It
sometimes.
is.
for
It
them,
is. It is.
And
They take on a
sometimes
lot.
They need that space to go and just be and decompress without the knocks on the door. And what are you doing? Why aren't you coming and joining us? So just some of that space and
Mhm.
understanding. But I learned by asking. This is not my own knowledge. This is not any expertise that I carry. I have asked the men in my life that are
And
important to me
that's really good.
Mhm.
I mean, because you care.
because I care.
I'm also taking Sandeep home to converse with my husband. To find out.
I'm a representative
You
from
can-
Asa. These are the questions she's going to ask
Oh
you.
my God. But the way she puts it so nicely and sweetly, I think I'm going to take her home for a month. We're going to have a whole new understanding.
You could slip little love notes into his guitar string package.
I do for his
Where-
lunch in the morning.
Oh,
Yeah. He gets a little heart and stuff like that. Yeah. And he goes, don't do that. The girls at work make fun of me. Because he's got his little lunchbox with little hearts. Oh, but I'm not a person who asks a lot of questions, and I learned that. I really like that too. Ask a lot of questions, be excited when they come home, and make him do qigong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Let's not make
We're
him
with-
We're not
but that's okay.
controlling. No qigong.
What?
Well, we said control. There's 3 C's, and
Oh
I
yeah,
said I'm
men do
gonna
not want to be
make him
controlled. That's
do
for sure.
qigong.
There was this mug that my husband had. It was from Indigo, and I'm asking the audience if they've seen it again because I'm looking for it. It said "Good morning, handsome."
Oh,
And so that was the coffee mug that my husband would take to work every day, and the staff would make fun of him, but he knew which mug was his because it didn't belong to any of the staff members. But I can't find it. I don't know where it went. So
Timu.
okay, I'll look
Oh,
there.
yeah.
So
Timu.
anyone out there who knows where Good Morning Handsome is, I'd like to know.
Oh, this was wonderful. So grateful. Learned a lot from each of you.
Yes.
Thank you. And
you.
oh gosh, one more thing. One more thing. Men have 350 words or something per day is their average, and women is like 5,000,
Oh.
something like that. So my husband, because I ask him often too, what do you need, dear? What and he says, I used up 300 words today. I've only got like 5 left or something. And so that's kind of like, it's a way
Wow.
of him
Oh.
saying without saying.
Oh.
Because he like that, I'll say, or I'll say, did you use up all your words today? Because men really don't, my experience of a masculine man, if a man is in his feminine, it's different. But the masculine men don't speak as much. They don't have as much to say in words. They'll say it with actions, doing stuff, building stuff, whatever, in my world. And so I just thought that was really cool, babe. You're pretty quiet today. Did you use the wrong words? And it's not disingenuous, and it's not meant to be
Yeah.
like
But
rude
it's
or
kinda
whatever.
cute, funny.
It's a way of him saying, "Yep, I did." So, and you, to your point, that's the second alarm. To your point, about them making all the decisions, making so many decisions during the day. Yeah. So my husband does not want to decide what's for dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get
That's
so
true.
tired of, oh my gosh, what am I going to cook for dinner? What am I going to cook for dinner? But you know what? One thing we can do to appreciate our hardworking men is not ask him to also come home and decide that too. So that's what I was going to say. That's
Yeah.
all I wanted to say.
Mhm.
Another tip.
Yeah.
There's
Thank you.
so many. Tip me over. We've gone over, like way over. Okay. If this was helpful or fun or boring, whatever it was for you, please let us know in the comments so we can celebrate or cry.
Or get better.
Or get
get
better.
better.
Yeah. Share this with the people that you love. Make sure that you're subscribed and hit the bell for the notification to let you know when our next one is, because you will not want to miss out. And on that note, ladies,
Thank you, and
see you next time.
The views shared on this podcast reflect our personal experiences and opinions. This content is not a substitute for professional advice. Please consult a qualified expert for any medical, legal, or mental health concern. If this conversation spoke to you, please follow the Ladies in Power podcast and leave us a review. Your voice helps more people find this sisterhood and these conversations. Together we rise. And remember, your voice matters here.